Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Back to basics on Facebook says Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. So we've had Hare Krishna and Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. This is a good way to start our Facebook day. Oh, Facebook day, Zoom day, whatever day it may be, or a good way to end our day, as in some parts of the world, like the Pacific time, where this all began. In the Pacific time, back to back. Actually, it all began in Navadip, but the Zoom, the digital version, started in California and Washington. So it is Pacific time. And by the way, I don't know if any of you know that the Italian Zoom, last Wednesday, yesterday here was Wednesday. Okay, so a week ago, the Italian Zoom had Prafulla Krishna Prabhu as a special guest. And it was really a very happy Zoom with Prafulla Krishna, because he was there in Gurudev's actually different pastimes, but during the later pastimes, and year by year, he came to India and he was there extensively. And really wonderful things. He's reminding the activities of Gurudev and so many things. And next Wednesday, the Italian Zoom, this is Italy Wednesday, the Italian Zoom is having a special guest, Anandamoyi Devidasi. So we look forward to hearing things from her too, because she was there also during those later times of Gurudev. And they had the close association and the view from a clean heart of a pure devotee. And that view is always so much appreciated. And we have Chinmoy Dev Prabhu with us, who can also give us some view from the clean heart of a pure devotee. Really, this is true. We've got this kind of association. And of course, Paramananda Prabhu, Jivan Didi, Kumkum Didi, all have had Gurudev's close association. Praneshwari Didi, and I remember, even now when somebody says Praneshwari, I remember her actually to be honest, from the Dum Dum Park temple. That's where I remember Praneshwari Devidasi. Navadip must be, but Dum Dum Park, she comes to mind being there. Hare Krishna. So we're 5 minutes in, time for obeisances. Overdue, 5 minutes overdue for obeisances, except devotees have been joining. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavats, dear devotees, happy to have you here. And well, on this theme, we can give Chinmoy Dev for a few minutes or moments to think what he may like to share with us on the theme of being with Gurudev and sharing something of his nature, because the very basis of our life is keeping our focus on Guru and Gauranga. And Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have shared so much of their private life, private attitude. Means their private life was public, but the nature of Guru, their natures coming out through their daily life. So maybe Chinmoy Dev Prabhu himself would like to share some things for us. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about. I see you're in the thinking pose. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think what you might like to say to us. And in the meantime, this week, for some reason or another, I don't know why, but it's been coming up on different occasions about Upadeshamritam. And so I know we're in number 100 and something of the back to basics, but probably, I do not know, Praneshwari can say maybe, probably number 2. Huh?
120.
Oh, really? 120. Well, I'm thinking it's probably number 2 of back to basics that we said, Upadeshamritam. We have to put Upadeshamritam into our DNA, the guidance that Rupa Goswami has given there. And I was thinking that at least we should read as a revision the first slokas, the first verses of Upadeshamritam today, just because we need to revisit this and keep it with us as Shikshastakam, as Trinadapi Sunit, well, that is part of Shikshastakam, as Bhagavad Bhakti Sarvam, as many of the things, because this like repetition or the continuous like grinding of the sandalwood on the mortar, then it makes it on the stone rather, then it makes it more and more fragrant. So also these topics are ever fresh. So let us just first, on the theme of back to basics, come to the verses, verse 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I mean, once we go into 1, 2, 3, we also want number 4, 5, 6, etc. But let's at least come to these three first. Every verse is essential, but these three essential first verses of Upadeshamritam of Rupa Goswami. And I have here those three verses, the publication from Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON's publication. And I mean, it's same, but different as our publication, but I don't have those three verses immediately in front of me on from the recent Upadeshamritam. Okay, so text 1. So first of all, Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai, who has given us Sri Upadeshamritam. And Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga Ki Jai. And all our present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. So let us begin with a very mini Vandanam, which means Namo Maha, Om Agyana Timarandasya to Guru, Vanchakalpa to the Vaishnavas, Namo Maha Varanyaya to Mahaprabhu. So we can say this together. It's a mini Vandana at the beginning. Something is better than nothing. So together, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha. All right, so the nectar of instruction, Upadeshamritam by Rupa Goswami. We can read the English, then we're getting the meaning straight away. So text 1, do we have our chat box? Let's see if, back to basics. In the chat box is a 34 kilobyte file.
It's verses 1 to 11 of Noe.
Extremely good.
Instruction.
Okay, very good. So I just downloaded that. Oh, it's what I have here. Yes, okay, so what you have, what I have. Very good. Okay, so we can also, so is this on everybody's screen, or can you share verse 1 on the screen? I'm not sure if I can do it from here. Praneshwari,
You can share it. You can share it if you want to. Whatever you want to do, Maharaj.
okay,
you can
well,
share it.
If we put an advanced portion of the screen, let me see whether it's easy for me. Not that we want something easy to do, but if I can do it without
That's
too much.
perfect.
There we are. So here's verse 1 of Upadeshamritam. So we can say it together, maybe with the microphone off because of the slight delay. But the Sanskrit we can say, as all the Italians now know some English, they know slowly together. Vacho vegam manasa kroda vegam jiva vegam ud.
Well, that's too slow.
Is that Maharaj's internet?
Yes, yes. We had to wait a little bit.
I can see. Oh, now I can see.
Yeah, he got completely disconnected. Can we
Praneshwari
see?
Didi, maybe
Yes,
we can just
Prabhu.
go ahead, and by the time Maharaj joins, he can give explanation on the verses.
Very good.
All right. Can we?
Yes.
Chinmoy Dev,
Yes.
can you lead the reading?
Okay. Vacho vegam manasa kroda vegam. Jiva vegam udaro pasta vegam. Etam vegan nyo vishahita dira. Sarvam apimam pritivim sa shishat. And a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
Shall we do the next one? I think first three Maharaj wanted. Atyahara Prayasasha.
Parmanand, do you want to do the where did this is this
This is Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada's
Okay.
version.
Yeah. We can do Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpa Niyamagraha Jnana Sangascha Laulyamscha Sadbhir Bhakti Vinashyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Number 2, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Number 5, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being, what is it? What's that? Praneshwari,
Being greedy.
Being greedy for mundane achievements, lowliam. Yes. And lowliam actually used in both a positive and negative way, but in this case, it's the lowliam, hankering for mundane achievements. So Praneshwari, can you do number 3?
Yes, we have number 3 on the screen, but I saw Maharaj connecting.
Oh, he's?
Okay, please continue. I'm happy for that.
Maharaj, we're on the number 3, so maybe
Yes, yes.
you read the number 3.
Have you read the Sanskrit?
Not yet.
Okay, so let us read together the Sanskrit. And so text number 3 As we've all learned some English, slowly together. Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat tat tat karma pravartanat sanga tyagat satovritehe shadbhir bhakti prasidyati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, in being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc. Oh, then what? Hearing chanting, yes. And number 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna. And by the way, in verse 2, there is the certainty that the 6 unfavorable things will destroy our progress in devotional service. And similarly, in verse 3, there is the certainty that the 6 favorable items will ensure the success of our devotional service. So it is very good for us to try to keep these verses in our mind, at least the translation, for those of us who are not really so good at learning the Sanskrit, and especially learning the Sanskrit with meaning. So for those of you who can, then very good. Those of us who can't, the main point is to actually be able to capture the meaning. And these are the guidelines for our life. But I think the first 3 verses today, that's where I've been somehow or another trying to bring the devotees and myself, the prospective devotee and the devotees, to give some focus during this time.
Maharaj, number 4 is like the bundle, the 4 verses. Maharaj, you cannot miss that one.
Well, the bundle, what about number 5? Anyhow.
Well, it's continues
is,
on a different, but this is like a step number 1, step number 2, step number 3.
Okay, the bundle. So the 4th of the bundle. Now we have a subheader for the first 4, the bundle of the Upadeshamrita. Okay, verse 4. So together, slowly, the Sanskrit. Dadati pratigrinnati guyam akyati prichchati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shad vidhang priti lakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. And it is, you're quite right, of course, because this is, after all of this, the association with devotees is going to make everything real. To sit by ourselves in our cave, in our block of Stalinsky flats or whatever it may be, it's not going to be very helpful. What's going to be helpful is to associate with devotees. And this is how to associate with devotees.
And we're about to receive the gifts from Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, and he is about to share the gifts.
I know, this is on my mind. This is why I wanted to keep it brief for today. But dear devotees, we can all try to make, yes, why not, all of these 4 verses so we can recite them. And if not word perfect by the translation, substance perfect by remembering the six senses to control, the six things which not only unfavorable, but which will destroy our progress, the six things which will assure our success, and the six ways of association with devotees. 6, 6, 6, 6. Only 36 things to remember. Oh, that sounds a lot. But 6 things in each department we've been through before, so it is homework, really, rather than, oh, this is something new. It's just re-waking up our memory of these items and bringing them to the front, bringing the memory of these items to the front. Yes, okay, this is my few words at the beginning, and now Chinmoy Devavu will be very happy to hear from you, and this way get to know the nature of a pure Vaishnava through the eyes of a devotee servitor. And you have many first-hand experiences. And I'm simply passing the microphone to you, Chinmoy Devavu, and we're all ears to hear something from you.
Well, I could do my best. I mean, the glorification of Srila Govinda Maharaj or Srila Sridhar Maharaj is unlimited, and I'm not really qualified to do so much of that, but little I can do, I will try. The first thing that comes to mind is just really how merciful the spiritual masters are. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Swami Maharaj, coming from that divine plane and working with us. I mean, I could say in my particular case, I mean, extreme mercy, like there's no reason, causeless mercy to give to us, to try to bring us to that transcendental realm. I mean, they talk about Mahaprabhu even giving it to the lowest, the Chandalas. And I'm literally a Chandala. And so that type of mercy, we really can't understand. I know Suresh has told me that Srila Sridhar Maharaj, like, very intensely expressed to her, I have no idea how fortunate you are to come to the feet of Radha Govinda. No idea. And really, we're puppy brains, children. We don't really know. But our spiritual masters, having such an incredible mercy towards us, have come to deliver this and to bring us with them to that spiritual plane of existence. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, he did it in the most affectionate, loving way. That was his secret weapon, was affection. He wanted you to come to the transcendental plane. Affectionately, he would guide you. And so we're all very fortunate to have that type of experience, and whatever we can do to give that fortune to others, I think that Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Swami Maharaj would be super happy to have that mercy given on. So I'm very thankful I have all association of everyone here, because I can feel that Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, they're still alive and in the devotees' hearts. So if I can keep your association, then I know that I can always maintain a connection with Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. So just something little. Jai Srila Govinda Maharaj, Jai Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Ki.
Jai. And Jai Chinmoy Devavu Ki Jai. And Prabhu, is there something that was, I mean, it doesn't have to be very private, but something that you maybe saw with Gurudev that, oh, you were there, but others didn't see, didn't experience? I mean, there are lots.
I could tell the affection and humor of Gurudev, and like the desire to like engage us, even in the simplest terms. There was one experience when I was with him, and at that time his health was not so good, and there was always 2 people there at night, and one would be there with Gurudev, and the other would be taking rest or maybe doing something else, or just always there'd be 2. So there was me, and there was Ratan Prabhu, and this was in Calcutta, and he has that big long veranda, probably like 50 feet, 60 feet long. And so it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and I was with Gurudev, and he was resting, and Ratan was on the other side of the veranda, and he was also resting. And Gurudev got up, I helped him get up, and he was sitting on his bed. He sees Ratan, and he goes, Ratan. And Ratan doesn't wake up, he doesn't hear anything. And so Gurudev calls out again, Ratan. And Ratan doesn't wake up again. And I say to Gurudev, I was like, well, I can go wake him if you want. And Gurudev says, no, I wants to disturb him. And he called again, and Ratan woke up and came to him, and then Gurudev lay down again. But that was his mood. He wanted us to like kind of grab us, affectionately grab us, and like take us to the lotus feet of Radha Govinda. So,
And for those
it's hard to express, because if you're there, it's one thing. Maybe the story doesn't work so well, but it's just like pure like affection flowing out of him, humorous affection, and so it just captures your heart.
Prabhu, that story works very well for me, and especially knowing Ratan, because I mean, not everybody here knows Ratan Prabhu, but he was we can say a jolly Bengali, young and quite round, you know, jolly feature, round featured brahmachari. And he was very, we can say, simple-hearted. And he did many things, and he did get chastised many times by Gurudev with affection. And I mean, we can also say something about the different servitors, because Gurudev, you know, he gave credit to everybody who was doing service, for sure. And Ratan had his qualities, and he was a good cook. But maybe Chinmoy Dev who can comment something about why he was a good cook from Gurudev's perspective.
That person, I can imagine he liked to eat.
Yes, exactly. So Gurudev, he said about Ratan, yes, he's good cook and making very nice things because he wants to eat the remnants. He's cooking for himself, not for me. He actually made this comment, but again with affection, and also not behind Ratan Prabhu's back. He's also listening, and he's also smiling from cheek to cheek and understands, yes, Gurudev knows my nature. And they took, just think, when we get the Mahaprasad, prasad from the plate of Gurudev or Guru Maharaj, how fortunate we feel. And Ratan and so many of the servitors, they would have that spiritual luxury, really spiritual good fortune, day by day by day. Hare Krishna. And from another side, Gurudev, as far as cooking and serving Gurudev goes, he gave much appreciation to Bimalananda Prabhu. At Bimalananda, he listens to what I say, and next time, adjusted accordingly. And he put his heart into cooking for Gurudev, not for himself, we have to say. And Gurudev gave him credit for that. Credit means, it's not credit in a calculating way. It means he gave much affection, so much to Bimalananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. For some reason, I can't connect on the computer. But anyway, Krishna knows the reason. So I'm on the small screen, so I really can't, I'm not sure how to see all the devotees on the small screen. I can see Chinmoy Dev. But Praneshwari, you can see who's, okay, now I can see by scrolling. Okay, I'm using the phone. Aha, now I understand. All right. But Praneshwari did. You can see everybody's hands, etc. Would anybody like to put a question to Chinmoy Dev Prabhu? Because today we've got Chinmoy Dev on camera in particular. And you would like to put a question to Chinmoy Dev Prabhu that he's doing close service to Gurudev. And not only the very last time with Gurudev, but earlier on also, and serving in the temple in Navadip and in Calcutta. Anybody has a question for Chinmoy Dev Prabhu? Any hands? I have to flick through to see any hands.
No, no,
Oh,
but
yes.
Sevarupa?
I'm
No.
also scrolling on my phone. So
Okay.
Yes,
I have a
Sevarupa.
question, Maharaj.
Yes.
Chinmoydev, did Gurudev ever chastise you?
Yeah, several times. One time I got a slap. So yeah, very fortunate. Fortunate slap.
More fortunate than me, Chinmoydevu. I didn't get a slap.
I mean, you can really look at it as the really the mercy of Gurudev. Gurudev, if he was going to chastise you, that's because he had faith in you. He had, like, I can't say he really had faith in me. It was a strange situation. But anyways, I know people who did get chastisement from Gurudev, and we can mention Jamuna Priya here, who got much chastisement from Gurudev, only because Gurudev knew that she was 100% sold at his lotus feet. And he wanted to give that mercy to her. And she could, she could accept that mercy.
In that connection, Chinmoy, Jamuna Priya, sometimes Gurudev chastising her so heavily, and her time to leave India coincides. And then she is very upset. I said, I'm leaving forever. That's it, I had enough. And then she arrives to Bangkok. And really, literally just arriving, I'm picking her up. Sometimes she's making her by herself, she's coming. And then suddenly my phone rings. And there's a Gurudev on the phone. And I'm just picking it up, and Srila Gurudev was saying, is Jamuna Priya there? I said, yes, Gurudev. Would you like to speak to her? No, Prabhu. You tell her that I love her. And now, what shall I do without her? She left, and so many problems coming to my life. Tell her to come back immediately. And I'm in front of Jamuna Priya, but Gurudev would refuse to talk to her directly. He's sending message, and then later on, he would call again and ask to speak to Jamuna Priya. So she was captured by Gurudev's affection, and her heart will be melted, and she might be very angry at that moment, frustrated, but then Gurudev would melt her heart and pull her back, and she will cut her so-called holidays short. Like, every time, I think once in 6 months, you have to live in there and re-enter again to continue for another 6 months, the conditions of the visa. So she would always cut her trip short because Gurudev was waiting and calling her.
And Jamuna Priya heavily being chastised by Gurudev one day. And I expect Chinmoydevu, you were there on the veranda in Dum Dum, that long veranda in Dum Dum Park, that long veranda. And Gurudev very heavily chastising. And Jamuna is there right on the floor, sitting right in front of him, and Gurudev chastising. And then Gurudev quiet. And then Jamuna said, Gurudev, would you like a cup of tea? So like she just digests everything. And then Gurudev, like a cup of tea. And Gurudev doesn't hold anything. Like he doesn't just stay mad. And then, like shaking his head and saying, cup of tea, yes. Really, I don't know if there is a second person actually who could take what Jamuna Priya took. Actually, I don't want to make a big focus to Bimalananda because of some other things, but Bimalananda, he got pretty well chastised from Gurudev too. And then he's got that smiling face, and then he just smile, and Gurudev shaking his head like, did anything go in? Hare Krishna. All glories to the servitors. And that close service, really, to stay close to the fire and not get burnt, it is great credit to the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, this is also where I learned not to say sorry.
Oh yes, oh yes. And please tell the devotees why.
Well, my feeling was that Gurudev wasn't interested in you expressing regret that you did something wrong. He was more interested in you just do it right.
Right, or that you didn't do it, or you didn't have
Right.
time to do it or something. Yeah. And Gurudev, there are two words that immediately come to my mind. The Gurudev said, I do not like this word, sorry. And the other one, you probably, most of you may know also, I do not like this word, relax. Two words specifically we heard from Gurudev. And really that was the nature of Gurudev, but with affection. This whole thing that, Gurudev wants something, then what is the servitor? What are the devotees to do? They're to do it. His wish, to carry out his wish. And this is something too we have to say about Srila Prabhupada's whole expansion of his mission. We see that universally amongst the devotees, they just say, oh, Srila Prabhupada wants this, therefore we did it. It wasn't my doing. I didn't open a temple. I didn't distribute 100 books. It was Srila Prabhupada doing this. He wanted it, so we were his instrument. And this way too, we saw with Gurudev, what Gurudev wants, and the devotees are the instrument for that to happen. And we can say it must happen. It must happen. Yes, he didn't like the word, I'm sorry. That's for sure. Or the expression, I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. But Gurudev accepted when something was, you can say, impossible. Well, nothing's impossible. Okay. Anyway, Gurudev did graciously accept. But you see, one example of that is we tried like everything to get his visa for Malaysia. This was just after the mosque in Ayodhya. There was a mosque in Ayodhya, and I don't know what year it was. So many years ago now, the Hindus smashed the mosque. And then this was a big thing in India and then all over the world. But Malaysia is a Muslim country, and Gurudev, he was planning his whatever number world tour it was, and starting the tour, he's going to go to Singapore, to Malaysia, to Australia, like this. This is how he was going to begin the tour. It wasn't his first or second tour, it was a little later. But then the Malaysian government would not give visas to Hindus from India. I mean, it would not give, they banned it. So in India, we tried everything to get the visa, but, and Gurudev just happens to be a Hindu monk teacher, not just a Hindu. They wouldn't, they weren't giving any visas to Hindus. And then we tried everything. And no, we didn't come and say, I'm sorry to Gurudev, but we did come and explain the situation and what we'd done. And Gurudev still saying, but it is my wish. I will go to Malaysia. It is my wish. And then any other way. And then, we thought and so I said, well, Gurudev, the only other way is perhaps we can get it in Singapore, but in India, from anywhere, we're not going to get it. We've tried. Not just, picked up the phone. We've gone to do whatever we can. Anyway, then that was the beginning of another, course of events, which just showed whatever Gurudev wishes, it must come. We must give our last opportunity of, letting it happen, because even then going to Singapore, there's a whole 3 kind of miracles, one after the other, just to show that, we're the instrument and we're not the doer. And he went to Malaysia, business class, on Chinese New Year's Eve, without business class seats and everything. So he not only got his visa, he went business class and very comfortably. But that's another story. But Gurudev accepted when something couldn't happen, like it couldn't happen, but still, in another way, it must happen. So, but yes, I am sorry not. And any other little tip, because maybe the devotees also didn't know not that the I am sorry is, we think, oh, it's polite, but no, we don't want sorry, we want do it, we want the result. Yes, any other question for Chinmoy Dev Prabhu? No, Chinmoy Dev, at least I've got your picture in front of me, he's shaking his head. I wasn't asking you to ask yourself a question. I was asking somebody else to ask you a question. Hare Krishna.
We're
Chinmoy
both
Prabhu.
wanting to know the details about.
Go ahead. Jaidev, please.
We're wanting to hear more details about what led up to the slap, because that is such a high thing to receive a slap from the lotus hand. And so we're begging that we can also receive that mercy by hearing about the pastime.
You just have to be clumsy and do something wrong. You will get slapped. My innate nature of being clumsy and doing things wrong. Basically, that was it.
We only accept half of this answer, not the whole answer. Chintamani is asking here, but what did you do? Now you see, we've got naughty friends. They're trying to expose what the naughty things we did.
I was giving him water, but at that time his health was not good. I was giving him water and I gave him too much and it came out his side and it was too much for him, and so.
There.
But on that point, there is a story of Gurudev when he was being chastised heavily by Srila Maharaj, and Srila Maharaj was slapping him. And what did Srila Gurudev do? He approached Srila Maharaj and got more slaps. And Srila Maharaj was asking, why are you coming closer? And Gurudev was like, you do not know how to hit.
Slapping with both hands.
Yeah. So there's the mood of a real devotee. It's like welcoming the chastisement.
And Chintamani is putting in a little expression here. No, I wasn't asking out of naughtiness. Okay, you say so. It's okay. It's a compliment, not a criticism. All our devotees are a little naughty. I think it's the nature of our family. Hare Krishna. All is good. All is very good. And also Gurudev, he actually many times, several times explained that story about him coming closer to Gurudev. And he would show how he went closer, and he would show the way Gurudev coming closer to Guru Maharaj. And he would like imitate how Guru Maharaj was slapping him, like not properly beating him. So like, Guru Maharaj, you don't know how to hit, so I'm helping you. Here, come, hit me better. And he's showing first how Gurudev is slapping him, and then how he's coming closer and closer to him. Great mercy, Jai. Govinda, Govinda. Kum Didi. Actually, I can let's open it out to you all, but Kum's always got some richness of experience. I kind of think she may not have been chastised so much by Gurudev. Did you receive any chastisement from Gurudev? I can't think of any situation.
I've been reflecting on this, and the thing is, I'm not nearly exalted enough to have received that. I think one of the best lessons that I got from his attitude toward chastising someone that is not exalted enough to, like a Jamuna Priya, who he could be so merciful with, straightforward way. But there were times when I saw that he corrected what I had said, but it wasn't in the form of a chastisement, but I still could reflect on it, and even today, and see how he was saying that it was wrong of me, but he wouldn't have, he wouldn't have just really gotten on my head like that. One example is at the San Jose ashram one time, and he was seated, I was seated nearby, and there was someone he was giving instruction to, very specific instruction, and it was not their nature to understand that they were supposed to listen, and if Gurudev said it, they should do it. That wasn't the way they were thinking of. And so they said, no, you'll see what I'm doing. You'll see, it will be good. And then a second time, Gurudev said, no, you must do it like this. And again, they came back and said, no, just wait, you'll see. And then a third time. And the third time, Srila Gurudev just looked at me, and with that beautiful face, he said, who am I? What can I do? And I felt so angry, and at the same time, completely frustrated and angry more at myself for being angry. So I pretty much went flying across the room and I folded my hands and I said, Gurudev, I have so much ego. And he said, your ego is that you will benefit people. So I could tell now that he was saying that it was not good for me to become angry at this person who they were more like a child. They didn't know. But at the same time, I saw that he had no anger. This is his own disciple disregarding what he said 3 times. And he couldn't benefit that person in the moment. But here was somebody asking, and he just immediately benefited me by helping me to see there's a difference in ego, and don't worry about that, but real ego. What is real ego? And so he just completely turned it around in a split second with no disturbance in his own mind, because he didn't have false ego there. So in that way, I was corrected sometimes, but so gentle, so sweet and harmonious and tasteful.
And actually, it's a blessing to get an instruction from Gurudev, because often he would give a suggestion and you got to pick it up. You have to have your antenna up to capture, okay, what is Gurudev saying? Yeah. And actually, you, from earlier days, Badri Narayan Prabhu, Badri Narayan is saying to Gurudev, oh, they're Westerners, they need instruction, they need to be told what to do. And he's trying to say there's a difference between Indian and Western mentality. And Gurudev said, if I instruct and they don't do, I know how bad it is for them. So this way I am expressing my desire without it being instruction. So also if we get instruction, we must consider, this is actually a blessing, and it means that Gurudev sees that we can do it. He's not going to ask us something which is not possible by us.
Yes, yes. That reminds me of another time when he very much wanted something to happen, and he could have just told me or asked me to do it, and I would have said yes. But in his wisdom, he kept saying, I wonder how this will happen. I wonder what this person would do. And I would say, well, they can do, but it's not exactly what he wanted. And so when he said that like 3 times to me, but very sweetly, just saying, I wonder how this could happen. And then I suddenly found in myself what he was saying. And I said, Gurudev, I will do this. And he said, yes, that is a very good idea. And it was so
Jai.
funny because he could have just told me, or he
Yes.
could have asked me and I would have said yes, but that was nothing like putting in me the motivation to do what he was thinking. And he put that in me. I didn't have it before.
Jai, sweet Srila Gurudev.
So much grace.
Hare Krishna. And from any quarter, anybody? Praneshri, you need to keep your eye on the screen because I can't see everybody.
Yes,
One.
Maharaj, yes. I would also like to say something, but no one has raised hands now. That's why I'm going to take the opportunity.
I'm raising my ears.
Sharing our great fortune with others. Everyone has had a connection with Gurudev. And another way of sharing our fortune is sharing the books. So last class, Chintamani Didi made a suggestion that was so special that Kumkum Didi, she captured that suggestion and converted it into seva. So please, Kumkum Didi, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, as many have commented, we're very fortunate with this Zoom technology. And so I was just thinking, and especially with the response from Srila Goswami Maharaj about the books and the substance that are in the books of our mat. And so I just, thinking of what Chintamani Didi was saying, I just got a very good awareness that we can simply start a Zoom book club and just get together, find a common time and start with the first book perhaps, and just read together. And we'll see if other people want to join, or if it's not a good time for them, it's easy to replicate. But just to get a group of people together to have a Zoom class and reading together, and stopping when somebody has a question and somebody can't attend, and that's their homework assignment, is to catch up with what the rest of the group was doing. So a book club.
Jai. So keep us all informed.
All right.
Keep us posted. You have the vision. I'm hearing this, and I don't yet have the full vision of how it'll be. You have a good vision. All support for everything which will be bringing the spotlight, the highlight to the books, the teachings, the nature, and what nature we should have as students, qualified masters, qualified students. We do have the qualified masters. We've got to make ourselves into that qualified student. So yes, Kumkum, please continue happily.
Our founding group is Praneshwari, Chintamani, and Jaidev Prabhu, and also the disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj named Viraja, who is trying to join on these programs, but she has care of her 99-year-old father, and evenings are not easy for her. So she will also be joining this group, but others can join, and they can also start one themselves. It's very easy.
Jai.
Yep. Step 1, 2, 3. If somebody wants to know, it's only about 2 or 3 steps, and there you have it.
Wonderful. Very good. Hare Krishna. And what other news from around the world? Well, I can give you news from Italy. Italy gradually opening up. And yesterday, one devotee came here after jumping through the hoops, as they say, and was able to come here with a long-term means a 6-month visa. And so came here successfully. And then he arrived yesterday morning at 8:45, Muktinath Prabhu. Some of you, he's been on maybe some of the back to basics, maybe not, but you do see him in the Zooms, etc. And we've known him since maybe 2014, been in India on the pilgrimages, was in Thailand. Anyhow, he's Ukrainian and he arrived at 8:45 in the morning. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we had another 4 Ukrainians on the phone saying, oh, we want to come to Vila Govinda. And so this was, it felt like a good day in the stars yesterday for the enthusiasm of the devotees. And it was a bank holiday in Italy, Republic Day in Italy. And practically all the local devotees came. So, and with it, the opening up a little bit, then you see that the devotees came, Muktinath came, and then from Ukraine, like a queue of devotees starting to say, oh, we want to also, please, can we come? And Manindra and Krishna Kant and Shanti, they're all here very happily saying, yes, 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 yes. The more, the merrier. So anyway, that was just a little glimpse of yesterday. And I thought, oh, this is in the stars. How is it that the local devotees are all coming? Like practically all the local devotees came. We had a mini festival yesterday. And from the public, we had, I don't know, about 80 people came, 40 public ordered meals and had the meals in the garden. So it was a good day for the devotees and from many aspects yesterday here. So can share that because happy things. Hare Krishna, there is life on planet Earth. There are devotees on planet Earth. We just have to bring them together and bring each and them together. We need to bring ourselves together like you're doing, like we're doing, like with the book club you're doing. However we can do, it is very good to do. Keep the spirit of our Guru Days running. Jai Book Club.
Maybe and it has a name, Maharaj. The book club has a name, yes. Kunkun Didi.
It's the book club for the what's going to be the bookstore here at the ashram, which is going to be named Sweet Reads at the Ashram. And Sweet Reads at the Ashram. So Praneshwari Didi noticed that the acronym for that sounds like Shraddha.
Sweet Reads at the Ashram. Almost. Very good. Shraddha. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda.
We should say Shraddha.
Shraddha. Govinda, Govinda. All right. And Paramananda Prabhu is with us? Yes. Paramananda Prabhu, do you have oh, I see when I scroll, there are actually quite a few. Amiya Sindhu Prabhu is also with us. Rohit, Rohit, we've had you, we're welcoming you again. We've seen you from time to time. And Jeevana Didi, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, Seva Rupa, we mentioned before. Yes, it's more difficult to see on a small screen, no doubt. Paramananda Prabhu, have you got something in your sleeve, up your sleeve? You're wearing long sleeves or short sleeves? Relevant to today, to keep us going? An arm, a seva arm.
Short sleeves, Maharaj. What would you like me to tell, Maharaj?
Maybe you told in the context of Jamuna Priya's story, actually, and a very sweet story of Gurudev calling up on the phone. You just arrived. Tell her I love her.
Well, I can remember my sitting and witnessing Gurudev chastising his servants and thinking that I wouldn't last a day in full service. And Gurudev was very merciful to me. He did not slap, I mean, not so merciful actually, I would prefer a slap, but he did chastise me on several occasions. Sometime by his own actions, making a statement in public, how foolish I was.
No.
But something humorous come to mind. In 2009, since we're in the midst of this pandemic, there was another pandemic on a smaller scale, so-called bird flu. And Srila Gurudev was coming right in the midst of it. And in Thailand, there were cases, and I was really worried. I was trying to make devotees to wear the mask, but that was impossible to do. Anyhow, so I thought, okay, I'm just, wherever Gurudev goes, I will just be nearby. At least I can wipe his hands with alcohol and control to some extent what is happening around him. And Srila Gurudev, he liked, over the years he's been coming here, he liked to go to that big vegetable and fruit market, which is like a small city. You have no idea how big it is. Maybe Chinmoy went there. Do you remember Chinmoy? Huge.
I think we went there one time, yeah.
Yes, but you were quite busy with actually. Gurudev would go there weekly, maybe twice a week. And sometime when he's thinking, we've always wanted to take him out to some places, drive around, let him walk, or just be somewhere else. And quite often he said, oh, Prabhu, today I'm in the mood of shopping. I said, wonderful, Gurudev. So where are we going? Oh, we're going to shop for vegetables, and I'm going to use my own money. He would always make that statement. So I have my own money, and he will just always show me how much money he's got in the pocket. And then happily we would go there. We will take a little scooter with us. So Gurudev can, it's huge, really, it's huge. It's like 10,000 square meters for bananas, another 10,000 for pineapples, another 10,000 for other things, and maybe 50,000 square meters for vegetables in general. So and Gurudev liked to just ride a scooter, see what they're selling and buying it for the devotees. We're doing a big buying, really. Ramachandra, big Ram with us. He was like the Garuda carrying the bags and filled with vegetables and other goodies. And I remember Gurudev saw from far away, he saw this cherry tomato mountain in one stall. It was literally a mountain. And immediately, so quick, I just turned around and Gurudev was gone. And he was speeding on his scooter towards that mountain. And I started running behind, and Shruta is running behind. And so both of us running. So we're arriving there. And Gurudev, he's just grabbing a handful of those cherry tomatoes and about to put in his mouth. And I'm horrified because they're not washed. It's a market. So I'm stopping Gurudev's hand, like halfway to his mouth. And he's giving me that look when you stop a child from taking ice cream into his mouth. He's giving me that look first. And then I'm just letting the hand go. And I'm saying, Gurudev, let me just clean your hands with alcohol. I'm turning around, reaching for a bottle, turning back to Gurudev. And that whole handful of tomatoes are inside his mouth already. He is not even be able to say anything left. It's filled with tomatoes. But his look was, and Shuddha Shravan, he got it. He looked at me, and with his eyes, he's saying, now, what are you gonna do? Are you trying to control me? You think you're in control of the situation? Now, go ahead, do it. So something like that, and many sweet memories, of course, coming to mind. But like Chinmoy Dev said, it's a special mercy to be chastised by Gurudev in any way. By his looking at you, by saying to you, by slapping you. Anyway, was a special mercy. And really, those devotees who serve Srila Gurudev, they're worshipable. And the only way to actually see and feel the glories of Srila Gurudev is by hearing the other devotees expressing their based on their own experience, expressing appreciation, love, and affection towards Gurudev, sharing the lila, their participation in that lila. And that's the best way to see Srila Gurudev, because we all, obviously we had our own relationship, but somehow there's always a little bit of familiarity present there. So it's a little bit different when you hear it from others. Not a little bit different, but actually it's striking your heart, and really you start seeing Srila Gurudev, and he's just like Krishna. You turn one way, he's absolutely different and unique. Another way is another unique quality of Srila Gurudev, and it's endless, it's infinite. And of course, thinking of glorifying a Vaishnava, we're competing with Lord himself. I don't think it's possible, but humbly, we're following the footsteps and we're trying to glorify the Vaishnava. Mahaprabhu, he came. What main reason is to glorify a Vaishnava, a devotee, the supreme devotee. That was Mahaprabhu's mission, internal reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance. We're on that chapter right now in Gupta Govardhan, the Adi Lila, chapter 4. And when you read about it, through the whole chapter, it's just the glorification of a devotee, glorification of Srimati Radharani. So wonderful to hear all the stories from everybody. And some devotees, sometimes they're saying, oh, I had very little association. Doesn't matter. That little association may be enough for you to become a devotee. And we hear that verse, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi. Lava Matra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Koi. Lava Matra, Maharaj, what is Lava Matra? You're good with mathematics. I'm always forgetting.
I don't know the figure. 11th of a second, they say, but
So, yes,
I don't
here
know.
you go. The 11th of the second, a moment, a split of a second can give you all the perfection, can put bhakti in your heart if your heart is ready. So no matter how little time or how more time you spend, it doesn't qualify you to spend like a long time with Srila Gurudev. You may be qualified just by spending a little bit time with Srila Gurudev, but satisfying him with your service. And that is wonderful to hear. Anyhow, my dandavats to all the
Jai,
servants.
with many thanks. We know you all, even with short sleeves, we know you've always got treasures hidden there to draw out and share with us. All right, dear devotees. So really, I'm so happy to hear of these pastimes and affectionate, extraordinary dealings of Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj, and in remembrance of Guru Maharaj, of course. Gurudev is doing everything for his seva. And please also, dear devotees, don't forget, let us try to be a little bit studentish in putting we've got the bundle of the first 4 verses of Upadeshamritam. Just read them and reread them each day so that we really do remember controlling our speech, mind, anger. I see now I'm speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, genitals, and then controlling the 6 unfavorable things, the 6 favorable things, and the 6 ways of interaction, loving interaction with the devotees. So let us also keep that as a little bit of a theme coming up to this next Sunday, or our Sunday, your Saturday. Let's see whether we can all just easily say the 6 unfavorable things, the 6 favorable things, the 6 forms of association. And I think you already all know them because we've been through them before. But they are in Nectar of Instruction, which is on the web, and also this file that Praneshri sent. You could please download. It's all there. And let's do our best, because we need to lead our life by these guidances. All right, so nobody wants to press the end button, but we have to continue our life. So we need a continue button instead of an end button. We need a continue, or ASCHI. We need an ASCHI button. ASCHI, ASCHI. I am coming button, not I am leaving button. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, wonderful Shri Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki jai, all of the assembled devotees ki jai, Jai Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, our present day Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. My dandavat to you all, wishing you successful, wishing you all successful Seva days until we meet again soon. Jai Jai Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.